into 8ish, but let's get it. Okay.
Hey guys, it's your girl Stephanie and your co-host Carmisha. Tune out the world and tap into Real Life Topics podcast, where we converse about everything concerning the dynamics of life. Check us out every Thursday live on Facebook at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Life. Any topics you want to speak on. Two divas with the knowledge, survive the struggle, resume strong. Life trials and tribulations, been through it all. Experience much, I took some fall. But got back up, now it's time to ball. In God we trust, His word stand tall. There's power in the words that you speak over your life. Carmisha and Stephanie's here to help you get your life back right. Speak victory and rise above any obstacles cross your path. Tune in and have a blast. This is Real Life Top Podcast.
Mr. Success.
Gang, gang. Hey, feel nice in there.
Real Life Topics podcast is in the building, guys. What's good? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Of course, Real Life Topics podcast always got to start the segment off with thanking God. Thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Been blessing the children. So far, the new school year has been good for the kids, and it's going to continue to be. But we want to just ask you, God, to continue to bless us, to continue to help us become closer to you. It's Real Life Topics podcast, guys. Open forum, guys. Open forum. Where should we get started? We have so many things. Huh?
The fly in my room is gonna bug the shit out of me.
I be having the fruit flies up in here, so luckily they ain't in here today. Welcome to Real Life Topics podcast, y'all. Good evening. And I hope you guys can hear me. But it's open forum today, guys, and it's just a lot been going on. Of course, it's 2025, and it's just been so much going on during the year, for the years, and I'm just my issue that I'm having, just in generally speaking, is the children. The children are kind of just really suffering really bad nowadays.
I mean, but to be honest with you, it's not really the children; it's the young adults.
The young adults, right? Because they're not, well, the children always gonna be a child in my eyes, because it's, children. But like you said, they are adults, which of course that is something that I want to talk about too, because actually legally they're adults, but mentally they're not. So the legal way, paperwork, whatever they came up with, is really 18. You're really not an adult. But
I thought they increased it to 21.
Oh, I'm well, shoot, 21. You barely making it mentally in my.
And they had to do that because we were more mature at 18 and things of that nature. But this newer generation is not. The math ain't math for them like it kind of was for us. And like I said, I believe we're handicapped by. There's a lot of things that handicap the generation. I'm big on the technology. Like, yeah, it's a tool, but it's a gift and a curse. Lack of parenting, because you got to think about it. Back in the day, we kind of had that foundation of where mom and dad, or even if grandparents were around, we don't really have that anymore. There were a lot of factors that factor into the raising of the children, and we just don't have that. It's kind of, everybody's kind of for themselves. It's more of a individualistic society that we live in. The grandmas ain't grandmomming like they used to. The parents ain't parenting like they used to. It's like, it's a lot of things that just ain't what it used to be. So, I mean, it's a lot of factors that factor. And then, like I said, add on technology, which is an influence on your kids. Like I was talking to you earlier about how a lot of parents have to put their kids in daycare after 6 weeks. That's like, you don't even know your baby at 6 weeks. So now, from the age of 6 weeks until they get grown, you have put them in someone else's hands to be programmed by somebody else early on in life. So how can you even instill anything into your child if most of their time is spent outside of the home?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, because most of the time, because the teachers are definitely the second parent for sure. You know, like it's like you're co-parenting with the teachers and things like that. But
And don't let them not like your child, or you maybe not have the best environment for your child to be in, because everybody don't have the privilege of having a baby or their child in a good school or a good environment. You know what I mean? Like there are so many factors into the roles that plays into society today as far as your children are concerned. So I don't know. It's just you got to try to survive. I just think also it's lack of understanding too. We kind of had more of an understanding of our parents. Like even though we, all teenagers are some form of rebellion, we just still have more of an understanding.
yeah,
So I don't know. It's like I just feel like it's like a developmental delay.
a developmental delay is going on with this new generation. This 99 2000 2G and them 204 5 6 and 7. Um, really kind of got affected with, like you say, not that old school raising, that old school coming up. Like you said, the grandmothers was more involved with the family, and even neighbors. Neighbors can get in your ass. Like it was even a foundation on the block. It took a village. You know, it took a village to raise these kids. So, like you say, that foundation of raising children, the foundation is a little different nowadays, and that to me is a part of why it's a disbobulation to this new generation of children.
I mean, but like I said, it just kind of dates back of the dismantling of us as a people, because it's not everybody that have these problems. Like I live in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, and though yeah, you may have the majority is us. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Because we kind of were just left and led astray. So it's like either you live or you learn. You sink. You either you gonna swim or you gonna sink.
Like I said, that's really big. That the point that you made about the foundation of the raising, like you say, is resources, and you used to have the unk in them. You used to have the past in them. You used to have certain people, like you said. It took a village. It wasn't just mom and dad raising the
It's
kids. It was
not.
it was auntie, a favorite auntie came to get you every Friday, and then the family foundation was just so much greater and so much so big. But nowadays, it's a mishap with that, a huge big mishap, because now.
Every Sunday, my grandmama would cook, and we went to my grandmama and my granddaddy house, and we ate together as a family every Sunday. Even if we didn't go to church, we at least got together as a family and had that foundation and had that source of knowing someone was there. It's like after the grandparents died off,
Yeah,
we just everything fell apart.
and hey, this new generation of grandparents is a little off as well. I mean, no, shout out to all the grandparents out here. Y'all wonderful people, but I'm just comparing it to the foundation of the grandparents back in the day. The foundation was just a little bit, so it's even different with the grandparents nowadays. So yeah. I just I'm really just want a solution though. I want a solution, and I'm just wondering why we as adults are not making that a priority. It's like everyone is just like, oh well, and let
It's
people.
not it's not a oh well. It's overwhelming when you don't have resources and help, and then also it's a lifestyle change. Back in the day, the only thing that you really aspired to have was your family in the house. Think about the aspirations and goals of people today. It's all over the place. You know what I mean? And then with bills, because the cost of living is way higher than what it used to be. We don't ownership as much. It's just a lot of things that are just different. And if
Foundation.
you don't have, if especially if you're in a single parent household, somebody got to work. So if you working hours to make sure your kids have what they need, who is going to be raising your child? And then remember, back in the day, TV wasn't like it was. We had Family Matters. We had things that instilled family values in you. We had the Dare to Keep the Kids Off Drugs. We had the Reading Rainbow. Like there were so many resources, even outside of yourself. It's like they did an experiment on us. It's like they pulled the rug from under our feet. They put your kids in front of that TV, and it changed. Reality TV is we do. Like I said, none of the shows and things that the kids had back then we have now, especially as far as the entertainment and what is influencing your child. They taught your kids not to do things that they weren't supposed to back in the day on TV. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't have sex, don't be married. Like they taught foundation. Now it's not that. It's not that. You didn't have access. Remember we was talking about the after uncut. You didn't have access to all these things. There's so many things that your children have access to, and it's a part of the programming. Because, like you said, yeah, maybe your child, maybe you wasn't at home with your child all the time, but at least if you did leave your kids in the house to sit up and watch TV, they wasn't watching no motherfucking Love and Hip Hop and Flavor Love and
Yep. They wasn't getting poisoned with the things that they are watching. Now we got to put codes on stuff.
we had 5 channels,
Yep. And half
and
of
only 2 of them was really interesting for you to watch. You know what I mean?
one of them ran to 12, like you say, something like uncut. Remember when the TV would shut off at a certain time?
It sure did.
Shut off. Wasn't no TV all night until back into the morning.
No,
Wasn't
it was not.
up watching no TV all night either. Like they able to do.
MASH came on at about 10 o'clock.
Man,
And then nobody want to watch MASH.
shoot, my cousin did. Shout out to Mir Lay. Sure, Mir Lay was watching her MASH, girl.
I watch MASH too.
Yeah, Mir Lay was up, Mikey. Better known as Mikey. She was watching her MASH. We was up all night waiting on that. And The Awakening. Shout out to The Awakening.
I'm just saying. Things were more simpler.
Yes, welcome to Real Life Topics, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson said where men were in the house being the head. I guess he was commenting on the foundations being a little different, and I guess you're saying when men were the head of household, it was better. That the old school foundation. So yeah, that definitely had a part to play in it because it was more of a family foundation, and mom and dad was in the home, and on the positive level, because of course we're not.
But I'm not trying to let me not be facetious. And don't get me wrong, because the man plays a big role in it.
Yeah.
But once they broke up sisterhood is when things went wrong.
Right. But I agree. But that's why you took the words out of my mouth. That's why I said I'm not trying to bring up the negative part. I'm just trying to bring up the positive part of the aspect of the family foundation. You know what I'm saying? It just was better. It was way better with the man being in the household and the mom. And like I said, I don't want to go there with the negative part. I'm gonna just go with the most important part. And a 2-parent household is better than a 1-parent household. So I'm gonna go with that one. But I just want to come up with a solution on why we're not paying attention, that we are a part of the problem as adults. And I'm talking about music, from music to things we letting our children watch, to things that we're letting our children be around. And we just I think we're kind of ignoring it more. Like back in the day, it wasn't ignored. It was just trying to keep that foundation. Again, the positive.
They took the mothers out of the home. You got to think. And like I said, this is not a negative part, but you got to think about it. Fathers weren't in the household most of the time. They were out working or doing their thing. Mothers were in the house raising the children. They took the mother out of the equation. Remember, their father was a big part of it because he was able to provide, but even when he wasn't able to provide, there was a mother there to nurture those children. Children are not being nurtured anymore. They are raising themselves. Yeah. They're raising themselves. That's a problem. The children should not be raising themselves. But there are so many other aspects that they appeal to. Like I said, you got these women. That's how all TV shows were set up. Even the Brady Bunch, when it were stepfathers and mothers. Yes, all the shows.
Yep, that show was Step. Everybody didn't even have no kids. The Cosby, that was their kids. But the Brady Bunch, they came together. They had two different families, and they came together.
Man, even Full House, and that was a household full of single people.
So was single parents.
Yeah. Full House. That was a bunch of people who got together. Remember Joey? He didn't have no kids. All of them didn't have kids. Yep. It was just a foundation of some kind of village, whether it be an uncle. There was some kind of positive influence in that household. They broke up the unity of the man and the woman. They broke it up. We don't even get along with each other right now today.
No, we don't. Not at all.
I'm just saying.
Interference as well. Even if you're not together with the person, that's a big interference. Not coming together as parents. Just
There were uncles. There was all kinds of men that came up and stood up for them boys. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have that today.
No, no. We it's a big drought on role models, mentors.
For the
Um,
boys, because the girls got everything.
yeah, that's why I said it. Then they can look, it's just more to offer for them. Like it's really a big drought. Shout out to Real Life Topics Podcast because they will be having a mentorship program for the young men of valor. But we need more. But we need more of that. We need more programs for young men. We need men to even to begin to step up and not want to ignore it, even when you see it. We got a lot of men out here that don't even pay attention to their nephews and nieces and cousins and stuff, and have
But
maybe.
even if you think about the image of the young people on TV right now today, it's like they started to breed in sexuality and things at a very early age. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, if you looked at shows back in the day, like Lassie and stuff like that, kids were kids. They played outside. They respected their parents. It's like these new age parents. They taught the kids to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't have boundaries. They taught. That's like what they taught. That wasn't the case back in the day. You mad at your parents regardless if you didn't like what they said, whatever they had going on. That's what it was. It's like it's the new generation of the high schoolers. Remember they started doing school for high school kids, and they were doing all kinds of stuff on them shows with them kids. I don't know. It's like I said, it's a programming. It was a programming of the mind. Then you got the Bad Girls Club. There was no show out like that about women until the Bad Girls Club. Think about it. They taught violence. Girls wasn't out here fighting and doing all that stuff. We maybe had a spat every now and again. Girls wasn't just out here banging,
No, just
cutting each other, spitting.
yeah, the reaction of our disagreement is being physical and violent. No, because like you said, yeah, we might have came across back in the day the women. I don't like Susie down the street. I'm cool, but we ain't walking down the street wrapping our hair up, getting ready to box Susie. They getting down like that.
My friends used to fight all the time. They're still best friends right now today.
Hmm.
Because they got over that shit. You did say what you said you had to do. You had neighborhood disagreements, but even still in the neighborhood, when it was time to come together, we came together. Wasn't nobody from the outside finna come in and do nothing out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So I don't know. We lost a sense of community. We have no community anymore. There's
There,
no community.
there's no. Everybody is kind of for self and making sure they self is straight. And
Remember, you had mom and pop shops. Kids were going to school. You go get your chips from the black owned store, the black owned candy shop. We don't have none of that no more. We don't govern ourselves in no way, shape, form, or fashion.
I remember that too. Shout out to the Hendersons too. They had their little candy store right there, little strip mall right there on Smith. Man, we was doing it. Take us back. But that you definitely right about that. The foundation of back in the day is different from today. It's just a whole flip and a whole twirl. And like you said, the community. It's not a community anymore.
You know what I think? I know that's just kind of what I got. I feel like drug dealers caused the rest in the community.
Of course they did. And drug dealers don't. I actually was talking to my son about that. I was telling him that I don't know how we got about selling drugs or talking about people that sell drugs or whatever, but I said, hey, don't you know that a drug dealer is a part of the problem and they're a part of damaging the community? Like, have you ever thought that when you sell crack or cocaine or dope to someone, which is something that's killing that person? I mean, you might not consciously, intentionally really think you're doing it, but you are. You are serving this person this poison that maybe might not wake up tomorrow. So you
But then
are.
also the mindset of the money. Just think about it. If everybody is the same in the community, but then you have a drug dealer whose kids coming out with the newest this, the newest that. That's shiny. You know, people want the next best thing. So it's like now everybody want to do this thing because this is the way out of the community for the way out of the poverty in the community for a black person if you don't have the education to do or the means to go to college or things of that nature. Because remember, it wasn't financial aid always. They ain't always paying for people to go to school. You have to have the money to send your kid to school.
That free lunch program and all that. You didn't.
That was started by us. Black Panthers and them started stuff of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Black Panthers did start the free lunch program. Sure did. Sure did. And
So there are so many found. It even did back in the day. The drug dealers actually cared about their community too.
yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They did.
They
They
fed everybody.
they fed everybody. That's why I said intentionally. Consciously, you probably didn't know that you were a part of the problem, but like you said, everybody still was looking out for each other. It was just the village, and it was just like the community. It's such a drought on the community. It is ridiculous. I had a friend of mine that said he was gonna come out with a podcast called "Man Up." Men need to man up. Lead by example. The examples of men are very short, and it's just something that needs to be done. It's something that
But
needs to
even
be.
just something small as, remember how we were talking about we don't want to represent certain things on our podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but it's baby steps and things of that nature that causes wider trickle effects. You may not like it, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? We feel how we feel about certain things. We don't like certain genres of music, especially that exploit women. That's just we don't want to exploit that any further than what it's already been.
Right, and not judging or anything like that, but we just don't want that to be a part of what we're, because of course, again, real life topics, it does some things that needs to be perked up too, and not, we probably be on here ghetto and cursing too much for y'all, and we're working on that. So the point of real life topics is to work on and do as much as possible to not have exploitation things on our page. That goes for music or whatever. Once again, for an example, Real Life Topics Podcast is having an anniversary dinner celebration. We having a great talent that's going to be on stage. Of course, the talent that we want on stage is motivational, positive, things of importance of that nature. Once again, not trying to hate on that, but how could we how could we try to change the community for our up and coming children?
Well, listen, we talk about the dynamics of life and we're trying to change the narrative about us as a people. So there are certain things that we do not need to indulge in. Like you said, we're not judging, but this is just the reality of life. Everybody wanna get upset when you did this and you did that. Okay, that's fine. We all have fallen short. That's what the Bible says. We all have fallen short. But what are we going to do as a people to try to get better? You can't keep pointing fingers. At some point, somebody has to actually do something.
Yes, you can't be a part of the problem and then and be going along with it. It just does not make sense. It does.
Because it
And
make you $1. Get you get $1 for us. So that's what a drug. That's what happened with drugs.
yeah, and then it be a lot of contradictory with that too, because you of course don't want your kid to be like that, or you don't want your kid to be speaking that stuff, but you're speaking it. So leading by example is a drought on that as well. We are not leading. We are not leading our children. We are not leading by example with none of this. We press and play on these songs. We got them in them cars listening to this stuff. This is important. This is really important. And once again, I listen to a few derogatory things as well. My kid is not gonna listen to it though, and I'm not gonna be walking around promoting it, and I just do that on my grown folks ad, because of course, shout out to back in the day, they did they thing, but you got to get out the room. You got to keep it moving. You can't.
Yeah, but little things like that is what led us to today. That's why, like my brother in the Muslim community, if you don't want your kids to do it, you don't do it.
Of course, you have to lead by example. Period. Period. You have to lead by example. You have to lead by example. If you
And
out
it's
here,
easier said than done, but we have to have some kind of discipline about ourselves, and that's the problem now.
and you have to plan for it as well. I feel like planning and saying to yourself, "Hey, this is my plan. This is what I'm going to work on to revamp myself, to become a better role model, to become a leader in showing example and making moves. No one is perfect, but we have to wake up every day and say to ourselves, "Hey, what things could I do to impact the life?" We're not impacting lives, guys. We falling short, and then when our children are suffering with whatever this new generation, we're not even realizing that we're a part of the problem, because the way we led and the things that we showed them, or the things that we might have not paid attention to that they are looking at. I had
Yeah, but
somebody.
you also have to take accountability. You can't keep saying this person wrong, that person wrong. No, I did this wrong. I am sorry that I showed you these things. I'm going to do better as a person every day to strive better and be better, not just for you, but for myself and for everybody that's around us. People live their lives like, oh yeah, I ain't got to know. You do. You are the problem. You have to be in this life. You can't just be for self. There is no way that you can be that. We all are here to influence, especially. I can't talk about it. I'm talking about us as a community. We have fallen so far down in the totem pole. We have no other choice but to figure out a way of not to do these things no more. I mean, because to be honest with you, what is it benefiting? What is the benefit of it? A good feeling for a couple minutes, something to make it look like you look good. People so delusional. They out here flooding, stunning. It ain't even real. Life is not real. It's such a delusion right now. It's like there's this distortion of life. You know what I mean? Like you ain't really living that life. You trying to live that life.
It's an image. A lot of people are just waking up every day off images. Shout out to Miss Walker, my girl, Miss Tanya Walker. Thank you for tuning in to Real Life Topics Podcast. She said facts, no lies here. Yes, it's no lies. Everybody waking up for self and an image with lies. You know, waking up portraying this certain thing and ain't nowhere near what you talking about you got going on.
But why? Ask yourself, why is that? Why is that? Why do you want to be something that you're not? Why do you want to be toxic? That is delusion. It's like a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is it? Why you don't want to be yourself back in the day? Originality was the thing to be. We didn't want to dress like each other. We cut home. We made ourselves different. The thing was to be different in my era. Nobody wants to walk. I mean, don't get me wrong, because you have trends and fads, but even in that, you still kind of made it your own. You know what I mean? Everybody wasn't walking around wearing the same stuff, doing, like, no, it was just, I don't know. Yeah. She said, shut up and keep talking. She's stupid. No, for real, though. Yeah. It's crazy. It is crazy. And if we can group think to do the wrong things, why we can't group think to do the right thing?
Period.
How can we indulge? How can we say we want better, but we don't do the better? Exactly. Do not sugarcoat it. That's what's wrong with people. Kid love. Life ain't gonna sugarcoat it for you. Life is gonna life, and this life is gonna be harsh. So it's better to learn the mistake early, because that's the one thing that we need to do as adults. Teach your kids early the things you learn late. You went through things in life so your kids don't have to go through it. And you're not gonna be perfect in the midst. In the midst of you learn and explain to your kids how you learned this, how you did those things. Explain to them your experiences.
On a daily basis. Welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast, Chico. What's good? Now Chico gonna be on tour in the month of October. He pulling up at people's house. So if you need that good hairdo, he on the pull up the whole month of October. The flyer is it's gonna be Chico Suave on tour, pulling up at the crib. What's good, Mr. Party Man? Thank you for tuning in to Real Life Topics Podcast. Hey, Miss LaTanya Graham, I ain't seen you in 4-5 years ever since your cat used to come up to Circle K, girl. I miss you, girl. I sure miss you. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to Real Life Topics, girl. Yeah, don't spare no feelings, Miss Walker said.
You can't. That's what's wrong with people. I don't want to say this and the whole time. So we're just gonna keep leaving it wrong. And it's okay. Listen, nobody's gonna be fully right. We're all learning and growing through each other. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. All this robot shit they got going on, excuse my French, with us, we need to. It's time to crumple it up and throw it away and let's rewrite our history.
Yes, you already know. Check it out. Chico Suave on tour, on the pull up. You need your hair comb. You better book. Yes. Hey, Miss Graham. Cool. Nice. But yes, it's getting real out here, guys, and it's time for a change. It's time for a change, and it's time to not talk about it. It's time to be about it, and it's time for us to wake up and pay attention to it. Because I personally think that we all so caught up in ourselves that we're not even realizing that we're not being an impact on people's lives. We walking around acting like we looking out and having someone's back, and everybody is for self. Portraying, got this image. The image thing that y'all got going too is aggravating to me too. Everybody want to portray this whole thing with no action behind anything that you're portraying. That's a drought on that. And also, these young men They are the future. We have to become just like we were, the foundation was back in the day with the village. When I say they mad, get mad, y'all point on tonight. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, if they get mad, baby, then you doing something right.
Hmm. I mean,
You
it's
gotta
not.
you gotta you gotta break a few eggs. It's okay, nothing wrong with it. Because
No,
right is right and wrong is wrong. No matter how you try to slice that, it is what it's not. There is no way in between. There is no gray area. Either you're right or you're wrong.
no one can get mad off real life topics or anybody personally trying to do better than
How,
do
you can't get mad at growth and development.
growth and development. Come on now. Growth and development and leading by example and not being a part of the problem. We are a part of the problem. Period. Whatever we got going on, this stuff is important. This shit that our kids is looking at and this music that they are listening to is a part of the problem.
And
I
us listening to it with them is a problem as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Back in
yeah.
the day, remember we had people like Arrested Development. You had different groups of people. Hip hop had a message. There was a message in hip hop. They talked about all kinds of things, and it wasn't just about. It's like they took the message and just narrowed it down to money, hoes, drugs. It's like they took everything negative. But don't get me wrong, there were some negative things in hip hop, but it was like that wasn't the main focus. It's like they stripped away all the good and just left the bad and said, "Here y'all go, eat this." And we ate poison, and we fell in for the trap, and it's okay. We fell for the okie doke. Ain't nobody perfect, but it's like when we know better, we do better. That's the whole point. Now we know they done messed us up. They did a number on us. Been doing it for centuries and over years, but we have technology. We have the gumption. We're one of the strongest generation because you got to think we're the last of the Mohicans when it comes to the generation that didn't have the technologies that actually knew what it was before it became what it is now. So because of that, we actually have a great foundation to actually start something for our youth and our kids, especially these boys. But it's like now they got the younger generation again. They like trying to fight each other. It's weird. It's very weird. It is very, very weird.
And it's our job as adults to be a part of cleaning up. And it's time to clean up, and it's time for all the image people to just be revealed as well. Everybody that's got stuff going on that ain't just.
You
I
got to
don't.
stop watching the TV though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Most of them people up there who flaunt this stuff don't live that life. The number one seller was a song that we all listened to back in the day. They was talking about not having it.
Yep, the number one.
Ain't got what they say, gator boots and a pimped out Gucci suit. Ain't got no job, but I'm gonna share. Can't pay my rent cause we sang that shit. La
Yeah,
da da da. I like, come on. They talked about stunning.
that was a factual story though, because that is what we doing. We out here riding Lexuses and Mercedes Benzes and can't pay our rent cause our money spent. So make it make sense. We got a cars. We don't even own our homes. We ain't owning nothing. So it's just the way we live in real life. We open forming today. So this is just a topic that we're focusing on for this moment. The way we are living, the way that we're presenting a lot of stuff in front of our kids, we are part of poisoning them, guys.
It's the program, though. We have to understand it was programmed into us to be this way. If we do not see certain things, if we don't say certain things, we don't understand. We don't understand the basic laws of like the universe and life, frequency, karma, and all the things that really matter. That's why when you're seeing these things, you manifest certain things into your life. And as a group, we sing it. So it's like we put a spell on ourselves and we don't even know. We don't even understand the things that we indulge in. Half of these people in these careers, they don't. Cardi B, her song came on the radio. She heard it but cut that shit off. She don't even let her daughter listen to the song that she sings. Because you know it's wrong. Let's just be honest. Like she said, accountability. Tanya Walker says accountability. We lack that. A lot of people saw, man, no accountability. I ain't did it. No, we all did it. It's okay. Nobody perfect.
and still slipping up to today, doing it, not realizing, I hopefully not purposely done with us, but just the way that you operate, period, and also cursing, generational curses, that your actions as a parent trickle downs on your kid as well. The things that you do will affect your kid. And I ain't even talking about just actually standing there listening to music and saying, bitch, fuck that in front of them. And now they know how to say, bitch, fuck that. I'm just talking about things that you do outside of your kids not seeing that. That is a issue that I want to talk about too, on how your children are cursed off the actions that
you programming your DNA. You like a computer. The things that you do in life, it gets ingrained into your DNA and it becomes a part of every generation that comes before. That's why this is the generation of the curse breakers. We understand that, and because we understand that, we have to do better. We have to talk to our kids about these things. Remember, we're a little bit more open and honest with ourselves. We're not trying to sweep stuff under the rug because we see it as a problem and we actually were affected the most by it. We was the kids, the drug, everything that they have now, we were the beginning of it all. So we saw the change that occurred. And our parents and the neighbors, we used to have community. I say about a bunch of Hispanic people, they still having their block parties and everything. We don't even have block parties no more. We don't come together and do nothing but drink, smoke, and shake ass and fight. That's it. And funerals. We don't even have weddings no more.
Nope, and it's even a drought on the back to school. It'd be a blessing. And shout out to everybody that did a back to school pass out today. Shout out.
In the city, it's all that. It's always pass outs and the bud billigans and stuff in the city.
Always a drought on it. It's still more of a drought on it than it has ever been. It has ever been. Like, it was like you say, the city still keeping up with it, but not like they used to. But
I don't think y'all understand, but they're trying to actually shut down the educational system. They don't want
yeah, because the city definitely doing y'all thing on the back to school pass outs, but it's even a drought on that. Back to school programs for the kids. It's killing me with the programs for the kids. And everybody
to be honest with you though, you don't have to. I feel like we need to try to homeschool. We need to get your kids back under the wraps of your program. If you did that, a lot of things would be people. You got to think back in the day, families were what they were because they weren't being programmed. They had their own program and they went about that in the way that it was. Every generation programmed their own kids or their own generations to be how they wanted them to be. Remember, back in the day, people weren't even, remember, you couldn't even afford to go to school. Some people never even went because they couldn't afford to do it. It's the program. It go higher than us. We got the Rothschilds and all these people that own all this stuff, and we will never be able to rise above it. So we need to be able to learn how to work within it. And with that being said, when you know better, like I said, I'm gonna continue to say that when you know better, we got to do better. It's easier said than done, but we have to put action towards it. Actions speak louder than words. We can talk about this shit all day until we're blue in the face, but if there is no action taken towards it, we are never going to get anywhere. We're very much so stagnant, and it's like I said, it's understandable. I understand. People gonna be people. We are who we are. The majority have been programmed in this way. They took the fathers out. They put the mothers to work. The kids been raised in themselves for years at this point, and the TV them took over and took over your kids, and now they won't even listen to you because you have been taught from an early age to listen to something that is outside of yourself. I get it. Yeah. I get it. People don't even teach their kids no more. People don't teach their kids. I made sure I instilled in my kids certain things before I even sent them out into the world because I already wanted them. I knew. I've been had some kind of understanding about what was going on. But like I said, I could tell the difference when I had my babies at home with me and when I sent them out into the world. It's savages out there in the world, especially when you're dealing around with other people. They don't care for you. They don't care.
That's a big thing too. The people that you surround yourself around is a big big effect on what you got going on. Well,
very much so.
The people you got people that surround you that's phony, fake, really don't care, really just dealing with you off the benefit for themselves. You got people that come around and their spirit might not that they're intentionally coming to you, but within themselves, their spirit is not good. That can bring things to you. Welcome to Real Life Top Podcast, Mr. Fat Albert, Mr. Gilbert. We used to call him Fat Albert. There is no fooling anymore. They're trying to keep us our children in the blind side. Teach them all you can. That is true, Mr. Gill. That is true.
So why have your kids in a system that is not built for them? And like I said, it's easier said than done, but we got to stop these single parent households. We got to tell our kids, hey, I fucked up. Don't do this. Don't do that. It's not safe for you to do this anymore. It's not safe. Don't do those things. Sorry there. Oh, there. Okay, we get you politically correct. Okay, you didn't put the right there in there. It's still the same. We understood the assignment.
Hey, that's what school taught you. Shout out. Now they do got a little something in them. They didn't taught you.
You never tell you. There's a lot of grown people don't know the difference between there, and they are. Nobody know. It's still right down today. 2 and 2 and all. People know this.
Albert, the school taught you something. You corrected that there now, didn't you? But yeah, okay. But yes, it's getting sad. It's getting sad out here for the peoples.
When school started going downhill, when they figured we were starting to learn, when they seen us starting to get ahead, because remember, back in the day, it was all kinds of basketball. They had programs for the kids and everything. As soon as we started excelling and becoming nurses and doctors and judges and basketball players, baby, they shut it down. Back in the day, remember high school, you had home economics, you had all the mechanics, you had so many things to do in the lessons for that way. And when you did get out of school into the world, you had some kind of sense of self. They took it all away. And if they do got it, you got to pay. You can't just go out into the world and get no good education for free. And the killer part about it is, y'all, if you don't put your kids in school, you get in trouble for that. So why I'm sending my kids to a system that don't care for them, but you making me do it and telling me I got to pay to put them in there?
Yeah.
Make that make sense? Why I got to pay for a program y'all want my kids to have?
Yep.
They fought in wars, like Tupac said. That's why they killed them. You got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Make it make sense.
Well, y'all.
This system does not make sense. It was not built for us. So we need to be able to, I call myself, I'm a loophole person. I found all the loopholes everywhere and I work them to the best of my ability. You cannot be fair in an unfair system. You got to do what you got to do, period. And whatever that may be, do it. I used to trip like, man, you shouldn't be scamming. You shouldn't be doing, why? Do it. Do whatever you got to do to get ahead. Do it. Do it. Get over them. They're getting been over on you for the longest. I don't care. Do what you got to do. Especially when you're doing it for a good cause. I'm not saying for those who just out here being selfish and not really doing nothing with themselves, and you out here stupid and you done got all this money and you ain't got a pot to piss in or wanted to throw it at them. I'm talking about those people who have the gumption to do it because they're trying to make a better life and a better way for their family, who's actually going to do something with it. They don't care about giving us money because they know we're not going to do nothing with it. They can give us $1 billion right now. Guess what? Everybody going to have on a pair of Balenciagas, some Balmain, some purple jeans, some hair, some nails.
Ain't gonna go buy no land or nothing because I'm selling treats. That's right. Shout out to Miss Walker. If you need them treats for your next event, you better hit Miss Tanya Walker up.
And she will be at the 1 year anniversary, baby, with her table set up.
Albert said they can only shut us down with the resources, but they can't shut our mind or our strength down. It's time for us to unite as one. We're powerful as one. Just imagine us as a whole.
That's it. That's it. That's okay, because y'all just keep on coming. Because it's people, we got little groups of little pockets. People are starting little stuff here there. We're going to get it together eventually. I promise you. God, it's a time. We were born for a time such as this. It is going to happen. Mark my words. I just hope I'm alive to be able to witness it all. You know, I don't know if y'all in the Bible, I'm going to Bible. Aaron and Moses, how Moses didn't see the promised land, but Aaron got to take the picture. I hope with all the grace of God, we are the ones that make the change and be able to see it. Because Dr. Martin Luther King, remember, he had a dream and we lived it out. He didn't get a chance to see it, but maybe we will. And hopefully, if we don't, at least we can say we made enough impact to get the ball rolling, to get the fire lit for it to get going. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and if anybody out there wants to join Real Life Topics Podcast, join the movement of uniting, like Albert said.
Together.
Yes, coming together. As like he said, imagine as one, but imagine us as a whole. As a whole, if we would just come together and say everybody gatekeeping, everybody is for self. Selfishness will get you nowhere, by the way, if you didn't know that.
That's part of the program, though. They make you they will lead you to believe that we can't work together, but we can, y'all. They will lead us to believe that's part of the narrative that they have painted for us in our minds to say, so we won't. If they take the head, the body gonna follow. They got the minds, baby. We need to unplug, tune out the world, and tap into the God frequency. Get this God body together. It's okay. You ain't got to be religious, but you need to have a relationship with God. You need to start tuning into the things of nature, not the world. Popular opinion in hindsight, segregation did more harm. Of course it did. Of course it did. Yes, it did. But remember, by the time Martin Luther King tried to get the segregation agenda across, they killed them. Because remember, they don't talk about the time when we was Republicans and we were owning businesses and things of that nature. They don't talk about that. But King tried to warn us, but when he was about to warn us, they killed him. He didn't mean no harm, but he did us more harm than he did good. But it's okay. We know better now, so we must do better. But definitely, when we segregated ourselves, we broke up the unity.
Mm-hmm.
Why be a part of people that don't want you around? What sense does that make?
Malcolm X tried to tell y'all. Albert said, stop saying you hope it start. We're the change now. We are the change now. Yeah, I mean, we aware of it. We know better. So we should just be doing better. We know better. It is. It's a handful of us that know what it is. So we need to do better. We just need to do better on everything, the way we operate, the way we wake up every day, and just strive towards this new generation. Because remember, we're not going to be here forever. And we need to be able to leave our kids on this earth to be able to survive. Yes, saying. I guess stop saying. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to say, huh?
Ain't still doing this what school taught you and want to capitalize the essence saying. Shout out to Al.
And we talking how we talk, and we understand each other. Don't nobody else do we do. So it is what it is. Let me tell you. It's a lot of people out here who don't have formal education and way smarter than anybody with a college degree. Period. That's a fact.
Period.
Formal education is part of the program. Now, don't get me wrong. We need to have some kind of smarts about ourselves, but we are too far removed away from natural law. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We don't have the understanding of the natural things that occur.
Natural law and man's law is two different things, and we
different things.
80% or 90% of what we living off of is the man's law, and that needs to switch up as well.
And from a biblical perspective, every black man or every leader that we had was like Jesus. Anybody that came up against the political powers and parties, they killed them. We got to let that go. We got to understand. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifices must be made, but at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we're going to come together.
MLK plan was inclusion because there were Caucasians that meant well, but the problem it's better to build your own house and invite people over than to keep asking to sit at others' tables. Yes.
Yeah, but they used him as a pawn, and he learned it was too late when he found out about it. That's why they wound up killing him. They used him.
Yeah.
If you go back to it's a lot of recordings of lectures, because Martin Luther King was a very intelligent man. He had a lot of lectures that he spoke upon all the things that we speaking about. I don't know what happened meantime in between time. They tricked us, help us get on a good foot to lead us up into these different political parties, and like you say, the desegregation and the nonviolent. But like I said, he spoke a lot of good things before he got assassinated and before the movement came about. So he was on point, kind of like Malcolm X was. He just got swindled, having a good heart. It leads you down the wrong path, especially when it comes to people who don't mean you know well.
Albert said, I came from the hood, but the hood don't define who I am. I want everybody to know it's not where you from, it's where you're going. That is true.
But let me tell you, the hood bred a lot of good things too. So the hood. It ain't all bad. It's certain people and things within the hood, but it ain't all bad. Cause you can go in the suburbs and learn some messed up stuff too. It ain't really all about the hood. It's about like they said, the content of the character
Content
of
of
the
the
person.
person. Yes. Yes. Because, like
People
you said,
don't have no morals, no integrity, no values. We don't have culture, all those things.
welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast, Mr. Sledge. What's good? What's good? Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, it's just out here bad. It's just out here bad, and we know better. We need to do better. We need to unite. We need to come together. We need to come with this movement. Anybody want to join Real Life Topics Podcast with this mentorship program that we got going for the young men? It is not enough. That's why them young men are suffering out in Chicago and every other city and state that's suffering with violence and things like that. These men got too much time on their hands, and we don't have enough role model men to come along and get these boys where they need to be. Yes, thank you. You love what we talking. Yes, everything is all facts. We talking about things of importance because this is really important. The new generation. We got to come up with these programs to help these young men. We just
got to pick up. We got to pick up where they left off. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. The old
we need to pick it up. Somebody got to light the torch. You know how in the Olympics, when they go to one state, somebody take the torch. It's time to relight the torch because somebody dropped the ball somewhere, and it's okay. Because like I said, we're not perfect. It's okay. Things that you are speaking about us not having is because of people being products of their environment. But the environment was never made for you to be able to thrive in. And so when you know better, you do better. It's a lot of people who have intelligence out here. But I feel like people were just discouraged because, it's like they program us, like they use Wall Street and all those other things to say, oh, well, if we do get something, they ain't going to do nothing but burn it down and tear it down. Well, baby, it don't matter. We need to keep on building.
Because if we all come together, like Albert said, as a whole, they wouldn't be able to do none of that. We ain't even came together yet, so the odds wouldn't even be against us like that. We can't come together to save our lives. See, they are trying to define where you come from as who you are, but these children don't know you can be whoever you want to be. Exactly.
Well, that's a part of the program of the adults because regardless of where you're from, as a parent or whatever leader you have around you, they should. And I come from the hood, and I was instilled at an early age to be great. I come from the west side of Chicago, heart of the hood, and I was never taught to that I was less than or because I lived in the hood. I was taught excellence from an early age. And if you instill it in your kids early in life, they're going to be that way. That's just what it is. It's part of the program.
I have to be a product of your environment. That is for sure. You do not. You do not have to be a product. It's a lot of programming does start at home. That's why when you be up at school cutting up and they end up sending them people to buy your house or call and got the parent call and the teachers and stuff be calling home, it starts at home. That's why they be like, what's going on at home? This fool keep coming up here. This child keep coming up here cutting up and doing something. Send somebody over there to see what's going on at the home. Because it starts.
They don't do that no more. Let me tell you, the school that I went to, when we didn't come to school, my principal brought whoever was in your class, because we had to listen. Whoever was in your class, she brought the people to your house to come to get you. We would walk. If we had to, we get in the car, we come to get you from where you're from. You have to be taught excellence. Maya Angelou, we come from the era of greatness. We had the greats in our era of time. They didn't play that. They knew what Black excellence was way back when. Cicely Tyson and all of them. All of the people that we had. Muhammad Ali. We had so many great Black people back in the day, and it's like they killed it. They cut the head off. It's like they choked the life out of people. So once they choked the life out of people, it was like it became a generation. My mother was on the school council. She wasn't with that. Period. You got to be involved in your kids' lives. And like I said, what they did was they took out the fathers and they replaced work for the mothers. Now you got all these hours with the mothers and daughters both listening and dancing to Sexy Red. Why are we surprised when Shanika acting the way she does? Adult accountability needs to be a thing. Yeah, of course. But like you said, that comes from the era of the babies having babies. A lot of these mothers who are out here dancing with these kids are still babies themselves. They haven't been developed mentally. But like I said, it's part of the programming. Like we were saying, back in the day, the TV shows, we had Family Matters, we had the Cosby Show. Claire Huxtable wasn't shaking no tail. Laura Mama didn't want shaking no tail. That was not the case. We had these things that we were programmed to later on in life. Remember, all Bill Cosby show had different world. He was talking about college. There were a lot of family-oriented things. Then we don't have that now. They pulled a switcheroo. They did reality TV. They started. And one of the other subjects we want to talk about tonight was the ego. It could be a gift and a curse. People out here living in these delusions and things of that nature. We have to be the ones to instill these things in our kids. Right? Back in the day, when you could sit your kid in front of a TV and they had quality education. They had the Reading Rainbow. They had Black People of Valor on TV. Nowadays, everything that you see about us is horrible. There's no foundation. The men and women are fighting. Bad Girls Club was the worst thing they had on TV that they came out with. They got these girls. We wasn't fighting, even if we did fight. Like I said, I have my best friends right now. They fought all of the time, but they still best friends right now today because they were able to. We don't even know how to conflict resolve. We don't know how to have conversation. We don't know how to do any of those things. We lack a lot. But like I said, it's because of the narrative that's being painted. Because we are not all that bad. It's just if this is what you see in front of you every day, all day, and this is what they program you to be, that's what you're gonna be. My prime example I use. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Frankenstein, but when they made that monster, the first thing they did to program was sit him in front of that TV.
Yep. Sesame Street, man. Channel 11. I mean, that's what was popping back then.
We only had 5 channels.
You from Chi-Town, you know about Channel 11.
Keep it being when the man became replaceable in the household, shit went downhill. Here we go.
Oh, it is.
Y'all keep saying the man came replaceable like that was an option. Like that was the thing that we wanted to happen. That was all government. It was all the plan. It was all the strategy. Just like the drugs, the guns, the government. They did a doozy on us. It wasn't that's what wanted to happen. That is what happened. Men and women did what they needed to do to take care of their families.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect? If you have a baby by somebody, let's just say your husband, they take your husband away. What are you gonna do? You have to take care of that child.
Yes, it takes a village to raise a kid. It doesn't exist anymore. Kids think that they can beat the teacher and nothing's supposed to happen if we don't stop. So be no teachers, let alone schools. That is true. And Mr. Thompson is agreeing with Mr. D. Patrick because with Mr. D. Patrick, I would like to know, how did the man become replaceable? All
I'm saying is that's all y'all claim to fame, but it is so many other things outside of the man being replaced in the household. There are so many other things that happen in between here and there. We have to talk about all of it.
Oh, okay. I'm saying the government. Oh, there we go. The government. Yeah, dang, golly, the government is the reason.
Yeah, it is the problem now. It's the same problem right now.
Yeah.
Remember, they even talk about the feminism movement. A lot of the things that they instilled, Black woman wasn't going through the same things that the white woman was going through, but she became a part of the feminist movement. But it was because it was a money thing. They wanted to break up the household so they could start taxing people. It was a money thing. It's always the money with America. It's always been the money with America. Anything that they could do, and we just so happen to be part of the problem.
Yep. Yeah.
They used us.
Yeah.
They used us as guinea pigs.
That I would agree with that.
That's all. It's no big ass and no little use. I like I said, I don't have a problem with what you're saying because there is facts behind what you're saying, but we have to also speak upon the bigger picture and all of it. We do understand that a man is a big part of the household and he is the head, and if you take the head, the body gonna follow. That's a fact. But there are multiple things that played in part of all of these things. There was multiple things that led up to this.
Yeah.
It was multiple things. They took the man and the woman out of the household. That's what y'all felt around. Like they took both of us out of the household. It wasn't just y'all, they took us too.
Sure did. Let's stop being a part of the problem and let's be a part of the solution. That's right. The rabbit hole
Definitely gets deeper.
Yep. That is
Remember
true.
they was calling us super predators back in the day. when Bill Clinton was president, they called us super. They was locking up them boys for minor things that weed is legal now. They was locking them people up for small stuff. The same they called it crack in your neighborhood, but cocaine didn't get the same charge as crack did. Like make it make sense.
Welcome to
It
real
was
life.
all a plan. It was all a plan that was devised to separate us. They divided and conquered. That's part of the art of war.
Oh shit. My bad, y'all. Excuse me. I was sitting here. What's good with y'all?
We're good. We're good.
Nothing. I was listening to y'all. Y'all got a dope conversation tonight, man. I wasn't even planning on being up, and y'all got me up listening to y'all. That was a dope conversation.
That's that's
But
that's what it is.
I definitely did not want to take up, too much of y'all time. I was just saying I wanted to explain. You had made a comment about the dynamic about the relationship and how let me explain. Well, what basically what I meant. I did mean the government played a part, but here's the thing: when society and everything that's being presented, because when I say that the man has become replaceable, it's because I get the concept of us having men that don't handle their business. Like, let's be fair. We know that there are men, that there are bums out here that don't take care of their business, and we get that. But we're speaking on the people who are still taking care of their business, and that they are even made to become replaceable because they are replaced with either a check, financial assistance, whatever type of government assistance you would get. That's why they're like, okay, so I can get all the benefits of having a person in his house, and not have them actually around. When you subtract, and I mean, we can tell it for what it is, but when you subtract the importance of a man, father, whatever, in a child's life, especially a boy's, because men teach women chastity, their daughters chastity, but they teach their boys chivalry. So at the end of the day, when you subtract that from a man, from a young kid who don't know this, that's why you get so many kids that wild out and do X, Y, and Z. Now, again, to be perfectly fair, I am not saying that a mother's role is replaceable at all either, because it's not. Because women teach their sons how to treat women, and they also teach their daughters how to be women. So again, there is no way in hell I can show my daughter how to be a woman. I can't do that. That's an important job that only her mother can show her. But when you eliminate those things, you throw an imbalance into the black family household and dynamic. That's why, if we want to keep it a buck, that's why a lot of these boys are out here with such feminine traits, and they have that because, and I'm trying to word these things correctly because I don't want to come off a certain way, because I'm not that person. But when you have so many dudes that's out here without feminine, that have these feminine traits, that don't know how to stand up and do certain things, is because you've taken that balance that has to be in a household out and replaced it with a number, with a check. Why do you think at a certain point, when I was telling people, why do they think it's weird that they give you Section 8, which will pay for housing, but the first thing they tell you is the father can't be there?
But listen, okay, so listen, I think this is where the lines get blurred and when we have this conversation, right? Okay, so y'all say replace with a check. Do y'all believe that women decided to say, hey, I'm gonna take this check instead of having a man in the household?
I don't believe for the masses. I'll say, because again, there's always exceptions to the rule. I don't believe that the masses are saying that we'll take the check over that, but I do believe that it makes it easier for women to not have to compromise with certain things because they know they have that as a background. Let me explain why. If I know that I have a safety net in case somebody acts up, then it's easier to be able to say, well, I don't have to deal with this. It's like if you got a dude on the side that treats you well and do everything you want him to do, but at the same time, you have somebody that you're with that's not actually doing everything that they want. They're a good person, but they're not doing everything. The minute that person that you with don't perform the way you want them to, you end up going ahead and dip into the person that you know you got to back up for because you can. What's up? Where's my mom? She's in her room. Why are you not yours? Sure. My toenail's too big and it hurts. Y'all go ahead. I'm listening. Just
I just
again, Daddy.
I get what you're saying. I just believe that's also a part of the false
I'm not gonna
narrative that
go.
they painted about. Because I don't know no woman, I don't know not one that took it and said, hey, I would prefer this. Most women
Well,
prefer
see,
their men.
you're
And
speaking,
I
you're
know.
speaking, you're speaking from a one of them things that you're speaking from is a situation that you is your proximity of the women that you keep around you versus, I
Just in
mean, because
general. Just in general. Just in general.
I can't.
Just in
I'm gonna be
general.
honest. I'm gonna be honest in this particular case. I don't believe that to be necessarily true because I know if you believe that's the case, then there wouldn't be a such thing as groupies. Groupies are
There
literally
definitely
there
is.
to. It wouldn't be a such thing as groupies. Groupies are literally women who hang around stars just to have a kid with them so they can become rich. So again, they don't care about the dad. They just use that person to get a check and make sure that they good. So I'm not saying that it's again now for the most part, again, I believe that because of the proximity of you around. Here's the thing. I don't hang around no bum dudes. I promise you, from my dad to my uncle to my grandfather to I and my brother to my best friend, all stand-up dudes. But I know that there's bums on my team that do not go out and take care of what they're supposed to. So again, that's proximity. I'm attracted. I keep the people around me that I know are like-minded like me. So in this particular, but like I said, that is there a right to say that there aren't no futures out there? Of course there's futures out there. But I hang around the Russell Wilsons. That's why it's easier to say, no, I don't know nobody like that. You and I believe that you may not. But to be honest with ourselves is to sit here and say, hey man, there are women who use that. There are women that will take you to child support court just because they know they can get a check from you. Now, granted, they not getting this astronomical amount that they think they're going to get because the government, again, who's in the system, doesn't give them. I think that the delusion is whatever the government gets from you, I'm getting 100% of that. That's not the case. The government is going to take 60% of whatever you get in that child support, and you get the 40 if you even get that. So the thing is, and that's why a lot of this stuff when it comes to that system is so strategic that and that's what I was saying about being replaced with a check. Because at the end of the day, you got dudes now that would tell you, I'd rather just pay the child support and keep myself legal and not have to do anything else for the woman because it's too much of a headache to deal with that. So I'm not necessarily sitting here saying that you're wrong and saying that there aren't women that just say, yo, I will just want a man to just, hey, can you get your kids? Can you do this a day? I don't give a damn about the $20, $30 I get a week or whatever. Just come spend time with your kid. I truly believe that there are women out there like that. But the problem is though, what's
Mom,
that?
my mom was one of them. She told me
Yeah,
that my dad, and my dad would say, "Well, I don't have any money," and she said, "You don't need any money. You just come and take them to the park. It's a park around the corner. Come take them to play basketball. Things like that." And he would always say, "Well, I'm broke. I ain't got no money." And she like, "It ain't about the money. Come see him. Come."
right, right. I'll give you a crazy true story, right? Real quick, because again, I ain't trying to take up too much of y'all time on y'all podcast, but I'll give y'all a crazy true story. Some years ago, a long time ago, actually, I was dealing with my daughter's mom, and before my daughter was born, she had a son, right? And at this point, I didn't have any kids, none. So when she had her son, I was hanging around the kid because his dad wasn't around. So again, hey man, taking him with me, we doing stuff, this, that, and the third. So she had got pregnant. She had got pregnant with my first daughter, right? So I'm ecstatic. First daughter, I'm having a good time. Like, man, this is amazing, whatever. And then me and her didn't work out, right? We didn't work out. So I think my daughter had to be about 2 at the time. And I called her and said, hey, I'm going to come pick up my daughter so I can spend some time with her. I went to go pick up my daughter. She told me, swear to God, on my child's head, she told me, you can't get your daughter unless you take my son with you. Now, here's the problem. When that came to me, I'm like, explain to me why I have to take your son, not to be bogus, but at this point you're telling me this, but I'm like, why do I have to take your son so I can be the right parent to my daughter? You made a bogus decision, laid up with some dude and had a baby with a guy who don't want to be a father. So you're gonna punish me and try to make me be the same guy that dude is to his dad. I said, that when we had that conversation, I had said something like, no, she had told me, well, you got to take him because you're the only father he knows. I told her that's not my responsibility because I never laid up with that man and had that baby with you. So I think that goes back to when I was saying about women and their some women and the mindset that they have when it comes to whatever the case may be. Because at that point, when she couldn't handle things, she dropped. One day, she took my daughter, dropped my daughter off my doorstep, and disappeared. I didn't trip though. I was like, okay, cool. As a man, I got my daughter. She with me. But at a certain point, I got a letter in the mail years later for child support in a different state, but my daughter was with me. So this is when I say that it goes back to you. I totally understand what you're saying about women wanting just the guy to be there, but the problem is too many times men have seen where that system does not work in the favor, and they say that yeah, a lot of these times women choose to check over the man being in the daughter's life because being in the daughter's life or the child's life only helps the child. It doesn't benefit the mom as much.
Like you say, but that's part of your experience, just like we have our experiences. So I get that.
Right, right, and it's
Mhm.
all situational. That's what I was saying. Like I said, I don't know a percentage which I would love to find one day is the percentage of women who honestly would sit there and say that they would prefer to check over the men because the problem is that we maybe that's the case, but maybe with algorithms and everything that's out there, that the only narrative that's pushed is
Mhm.
women that ask, hey, would you rather have a broke man that would be faithful and treat you right or a rich man that'll be bogus to you? And
And
too many
vice versa
times
with us, as far as men taking care of their kids, it's the same thing.
right, exactly. So it may just be the algorithm that we're feeling, but I do know that as of right now, I did this research actually before I did the Speak Your Truth panel one day because I knew this question was going to come up. Where I found out that uh, let me see, it was 76% of males are active are single fathers something like that. It was 70 as active fathers in their kids lives, and of that 70% it was like 83% were black men. So it was a number that threw me all the way off because I'm like, but it's not that I don't believe it. It's the narrative that's always pushed to us is that black men don't take care of their kids, black men cheat, black men run off, black men this and
But
that.
we can't get along, and the things that we doing right now, we can't have discussions. We don't conflict. All the things, all the bad things that they push into us on society. Just like we were saying, why are there more things out here for women than they are for actual boys? As far as like mentorships and things of that nature, you
I
you
think
can easily find something for girls, but you can't really find something for young men. Why is that?
I think because the narrative is still men are supposed to take things on the chin and keep it moving. That's we have that narrative of just thinking men can like the problem now is that men if men show any sign of vulnerability, they consider sassy, they consider soft, they consider weak, or it gets used against them. So a lot of times men don't open up the way they should or have that because we're taught that you cannot show emotion, you cannot be weak, you cannot show like men are just taught or society and whatever you want to put, men are supposed to have they shit together from day one. And if you don't have it together, then some women won't look at you as being a man for that. So that's why men are just, they lock themselves in their mind. They don't try to do nothing else. And they completely shut down from everything else in the world. And they don't show emotion. The problem is that I would tell any woman that's listening or anybody that's out there, take, grain of salt. But if you have a man that's honestly telling you what's going on in his life, and he's telling you about his day, and he's telling you about his worries, and he's telling you about his concerns, and he's telling you about things that are stressing him out, I suggest you hold on to that man because again, he trusts you enough to where he's giving you every key to his switchboard that lets you know that hey, I trust you with this key and I trust you enough that when shit goes bad for me, you will never use anything that I'm telling you against me because this a man's ego is extremely fragile, and the way they do that is they protect that shit with an armed guard, a tank, a missile, all type of things protect that a man's ego, and it's hard for him to open up to a person if they feel like we have to fully trust you 100% before we can give you anything about our life. Like we can trust you 98.9% and still won't open up to you. We have to completely trust you for that.
I don't
So
know.
but
I don't have a problem. I've never had a problem in that department. I'm just saying from my own experience. But I think women, as a whole, like we have those experiences with the man that's just not right. Like I said, I don't mean to. You a rarity, Patrick. You rare.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be
You're
honest.
rare.
I don't believe that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that. Right?
It's more of us than it is of y'all. It's what you're
That is
rare.
true. Like
You're rare.
y'all outnumber us. I think 5-1, and I
You're
understand that.
rare. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're rare.
No, no, no. The rarity has to do with okay. Put it to you like this: diamonds are rare, but if you go to the right location, you can find them. So it's not about how rare something is, it's where you go to find it. If you're
Well,
looking
in
for a rare,
Chicago, in Chicago, in
no,
Chicago,
there's diamonds in Chicago, because
in,
I'm gonna
in,
say
in the
this.
South, baby, you got a lot of diamonds. You got a couple diamonds to choose from. In
Nah,
Chicago, ain't
cause
mine.
I hear these southern dudes ain't nothing nice either. But I'm gonna tell you what. Here's what I would suggest, right? For women that are saying, and I'm not saying you, but I said for those women that are saying that, yo, D Patrick Rare, whatever the case may be, why are you looking for a diamond at a club where you know niggas are gonna be at acting like niggas? Why are you
And
choosing
you
to?
said you go to clubs doing that. Though why you say that? What make you
See,
say
here's the
that?
problem.
Wasn't at
Here's
the
the problem.
college course. You wasn't at the college school when you got that man, ma'am. You was
That's
not
what I'm saying.
intelligent
It's about where you go.
without
You girl, you look you talking to them.
Yeah, no, no, I'm not
I
saying
ain't never
you.
met no man in the club.
No,
Never.
I know you haven't, but here's the problem. The problem is not that you have, but the women that will go around and saying Tyrone ain't shit, Tyrone this, Tyrone that. You met Tyrone at the club. You met Tyrone when he was selling drugs. You met Tyrone when he had this and that. You met Tyrone when he was got gun. But the reason you liked Tyrone because Tyrone was exciting. Tyrone provided a lifestyle. Tyrone was doing this, and you thought that exciting lifestyle would roll over to adult responsibilities. It don't work that way. It works in the way of my bad. I ain't mean to interrupt. I see y'all got my bro coming in.
wanted to join the conversation. Welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast, Albert. What's good?
What's up, everybody?
What's good?
What's good with you, man? What's up? How everybody doing today?
So far so good. We can't complain. We here.
I hear you, D. Go ahead, D, man. You speaking true facts, man. You know what I mean? Go ahead, speak, bro.
Nah, I was just like I said, I was just stating that when you going and you're trying to pick something that's rare, you don't go to a place where everything find where you can find
Right.
it everywhere. You have to go to a place where you feel like this is what you're looking for. If you want to find you a business associate, a business minded person, you would not go to a place where there are no business being held. I don't go to Doc's looking for a burger. It's certain places you go where you're looking for what I wouldn't go looking for my wife at a strip club. So
Right.
it's certain places I go that I'm like, okay, if I want this type of woman, then I would go to a place where I know I can find this type of woman. But the problem is the mentality that some women have is that they go to the places and the dudes that they know in their brain, they will see every sign that would tell you this is not a person to be with. Now, to be fair, let's keep it a buck a little bit more because I know we doing it. But let's do this. And we're all human, we all adults here. If you want to get your rocks off, get your rocks off. But you don't keep it. You don't keep it. That goes for men and women.
But I
Get your
think that
rocks off.
dates back to the lack of parenting because you got to think of how you was programmed, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, if you weren't taught a certain way, if you didn't have a father, or if you didn't have a good mother or somebody to teach you those things, that how with certain people how do they know what to look for? You know what I mean? Like I think it's the catch-22 in a lot of these situations that all stems back from what we were talking about as far as the foundation and the lack thereof.
Well, I agree with you, D. Patrick. I agree. Like the same, I think the OJ song called "What You See Is What You," and
Mm-hmm.
self around what you know. You have to be. Want that
You
intelligent?
going in and out.
If you want that intelligent man or that intelligent person, you have to be what you want. You have to become what you're looking
Not
for.
even just be there, but like he said, be in proximity thereof.
I
I
just feel
mean,
women be like, I ain't looking for that broke man. I that got this and I want the man, and you don't have stuff that you requesting for the man to have. That's all I'm saying.
So why is it? So why is it that high paying women have problems with finding men?
Because they want the thing is that they're looking for somebody in the tax bracket. Again, you asking for a high, let's say a high paid woman that's making six figures or whatever the case may be. Like, we'll just even say low sixes. Most of them women will not look at a dude who's got to work in a regular 9 to 5 and looking at that standard. They're looking at this product of what he makes versus the content of that man's character. The characters cannot be defined by that man's pocketbook. So a lot of times, men are being disqualified just off their bank account alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when we're sitting here having a conversation about why can't they find one, then stop. The first thing you got to do is, because a man will present himself to you, and if he's not driving what you like, or you don't like what he got, or he don't have the crib you got, he's not a bum. He just don't qualify for you financially. And if that's the case, then you're looking for the wrong type of man. Because again, if you're letting the financial aspect of things determine on who you're going to pick, then you're going to get what you get. Most of those men who are literally sitting in their figures of whatever are not looking for a woman that will be an equal to them. Most of those men that are in that position want a very submissive woman to do what they tell them to do. And if you sign up for that and you with it, by all means, sweetie, do your thing. But you trust me, when you get it, you're not getting somebody that wants to build with you. They're gonna come with their shit already together and say, hey, if you wanna ride with this train, you have to get on my plan. I don't have to get on yours.
Hey,
So
and this is why the woman went and asked to be able to and
I can't. You steady going in and out.
no, I said, and this is why the woman went and got her own rights, because the man wants you to go sit down, miss. Let me
facts.
stop messing. But it's facts that you.
Y'all funny. But
But yeah, y'all. Unity. We just work
I
on.
feel like we talk about the lack of head of the household, but then they don't ever speak upon the fact of the lack of what women when women were in that time, how they were being treated.
Right. The lack
no,
So there's a lot of women that have those stories that were married, were loyal, were faithful, and all those things, and they weren't being treated fairly.
I mean, to be that goes back into when we talking about women's liberation and back when that had to become a thing. But to be fair, if we want to talk about that, women's lib did more harm to y'all than it did to anybody else. The women's liberation movement was not for black women, because black women were not the ones who were suffering from that situation. White women were the ones who were suffering
I talked
because
about that. I said that. I spoke upon that earlier.
yeah,
I spoke upon that earlier.
right. And that's the thing. Like I said,
But you can say that, but then we know women who were affected in that way. Not and they weren't white women. We only, like you say, proximity. We know black women
I
who
mean, during the time when the women's liberation movement became a thing, here's the thing: when the women's liberation movement became a fact, y'all were less of, put it like this: there were white men, white women, black men, then y'all. So at the end of the day, when that movement was becoming a thing and people were going around and making it out and yelling and burning bras, y'all were not the ones who were suffering, because black men was coming home, giving their checks to their women and saying, hey, take care of the household. Y'all, a vast majority of y'all were not the ones who were suffering from what the white women was doing at that time. No, at that time.
but like there's like listen, but you say that, right? But it's like you say through experience and speaking to people, there are a lot of women right now today who are traumatized from what was going on back in the day. And I'm not talking about white women, I'm talking about black women.
But
Because remember, there was a time when they didn't have rights, they couldn't do nothing for themselves. And I
right.
mean that's like a person, if a person has full control over you and they can do what they want to do to you, they're gonna do what they want to do. Now I'm not saying there were cases to where the man was taking care of the house and that was the case, but there are a lot of cases that was the case. He was taking care of the household, but he was treating her like shit, and he was still going to have families, and he was still doing the things,
So
I know, like you talk to women, and not even, you talk to them, and they tell you these stories. It's a
No,
lot
and
of them.
I agree with you. Here's the thing. I'm not disputing the fact that there were not men or on black men that did not do certain things. The problem is that here's how I'm getting this trying to get my point across. You just admitted that at that time women didn't have the rights or nothing like that, and we just broke down the order of how things came. You had no right to start no liberation movement. The white woman had the more ability to start a liberation movement than you did. So the thing was, they used black women to help their agenda come across because they could not do it on their own.
So,
If
but
they
why
said
were black women so willing? Why were they willing to do that if that wasn't their case and they
because
were being treated so fairly and things were as they were
because
supposed to
they
be?
I'm gonna tell you the reason that worked. It works for the same reason that Derek Jackson can sell 1 million copies or whatever it is that he said of his books. It works for all the other men that, and I'm not saying this to be pleased. Do not, because I'm not a chauvinist. I'm not this. I'm just a pretty dude that read a pretty intelligent dude that reads books every once in a while. The problem is when people can, if they can find out what you're lacking and they can cater to what you're lacking, then I can pull you in. If I knew exactly what was bothering you and I knew what was upset with you, all I got to do is figure it out, and I bet you I can pull you into anything else as long as I can make it relatable to you. That's why Derek Jackson can sell 1 million copies of a book, because he can pander to women and see, oh, well, yeah, y'all just need to be this. Y'all don't need to be paying no bills. Y'all don't need to do this. Y'all don't need to do that. And if he can pander to that and get a core around that, then he can pull them in. The thing was, white women were able to say, hey, we're tired. Aren't y'all tired too? And the minute that they said, yeah, we want to vote, nobody just want to take away your vote. Nobody wants to do anything like that. The problem is that women, most at that time, most black women were okay with the order of the household because it maintained that way. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that the way it came across was right, where there were men who were able to just come home and do this and that. If you look at it, we didn't have TV shows with our names on it back at that time, but there were more white men. Look at I Love Lucy, prime example. Ricky was the head of the house, whatever the case may be. But anytime Lucy did some shit, Ricky would throw Lucy over her knee and slap her on her ass. But again, that was happening more in that Caucasian and all that of the households because they had a problem with it. And the minute that they did, again, we were not the richest people. When women's lib came into effect, so did child support, because white men were leaving their white women to go be with other white women and leaving them with the babies. You didn't have that as much in that black community at the time, because men, even if they went out, and I'm not giving a pass, when men went out and did their extra shit, the one thing that they ever always said was, he takes care of home. That was the one thing that was a consistent. White men were the ones who were going out, having extra family, and leaving the wife with the kid to be with the other wife. And the white women started the libs movement, and child support came, and annuities came, and spousal support came. All of them things came because of their movement, not ours, because you guys did not to be, and I'm not saying this to sound like an ass, but y'all didn't have the power to start that movement at that time.
We didn't have the power, but that didn't mean we wasn't affected. Like I'm just saying, because if you ask the story, they're gonna tell you. Listen, it's women who black women. I get you. Like you said, we didn't have the power to do certain things, but they were still affected in the same way. We just didn't have the right to do things because we was black. Just like y'all didn't have the right to
No,
do
no, no.
certain things because y'all was black.
Right. And that's the thing. I'm not saying that women, like I said, I don't want to get it twisted and say that women were not affected by what the way it was going at the time, because I do believe that a lot of women decided to mute themselves because they felt that there was no need, they could not
You
really
couldn't do
stand up and
nothing. You
have a
couldn't do
voice.
nothing. So why?
But
You have no other
but
choice. If I
the,
have no other choice, then I'm
the
going to do what I have to do because I have no other choice.
But the problem becomes when you look at women like Angela Davis, who also was a strong black woman who had a voice. You look at like, and I don't want to go through slavery because we ain't doing that. There were plenty of proud black women that was comfortable being a proud black woman in that state that they were in. Because when Angela Davis or anybody got with, let's say, because I know she didn't get with Fred Hampton or Kwame Ture. I'm trying to think who it was that she had got with. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The problem is when that woman got with that man, it was still a balance that she was okay with. The problem is that the white lib movement was not okay with balance.
I
Women
get
at
that, but
that time, some.
at that time, you talking about Angela Davis, that those things had already been put into play. You talking about later on down the
Yeah,
line. Uh,
but here's the thing. Do you see when okay from
I'm
the
not
time that you're
disagreeing with
talking?
anything that you're saying. I just want to let you know that.
I
Okay.
know.
I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, yeah. I know you're not. I know it's just
Yeah.
conversation, but I just wanted to put something out there. Do you see the time from when the women's lib move started until, let's just say, when the woke Black Panther Party started? Can you really see a significant change in the dynamic between men
Yes.
and women in our
Yes.
community versus significant change between the white community? There's two different dynamics because the black women, some black women was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not rolling with that because I know what that's going to do to the black household. Nobody discredits. Look, Martin gets all the respect. Martin MLK gets all the respect. Nobody puts Coretta at any disadvantage of this and says, well, she was just a stay-at-home mama. She did this. No, we knew how important Coretta's role just as much as Martin was. We knew Betty Shabazz when it came to Malcolm. There's a lot of women. Hell, we can bring it as most recent as we know what Obama was, but damn it, where the hell would he be without Michelle? Let's keep it a buck. So my thing is, but again, we all knew who the head was, but we knew that there was a balance that came back at that household. So again, that's why now a lot of women now, when you go about and you mentioned about how women are now that you talk to or say, hey, at that time, more women now want to go back to them days where they
No,
like,
they don't
man,
want to
I'd
go
rather
back.
just be
They
a
just want to still
stay-at-home
have
mom.
a balance. No. They don't want to go back. They don't want to go back. They don't want to go back.
Really?
But they definitely want there to be the balance. They want the balance.
Let me explain how when I say they want to go back, right? There are women that say, I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. I want to go back to being a woman that stays in home. The man brings home the check and they take care of that. There are more women now that are looking and that will tell you, y'all was done for fighting for women's rights because we would love to go back to what that
Right.
was. So again, that if for every woman that's sitting up there saying, oh my God, I missed out on this and I should have had this and I didn't get to vote and this and third, the women now is like, man,
I'm not even
vote.
speaking upon that. I'm speaking upon just the way they were being treated in general. I mean.
Well, I mean, but see, the treatment didn't come. Here's the thing: the treatment came from another race. We were not really treating women like y'all were. We wasn't treating people y'all the way women that the world was treating y'all. Put it like this: there was an episode on Blackish, right? And with can't remember her name. I can't remember the mother on 227. But anyway, Marla Gibbs. When she had that, she was like, I don't get this world today because there was a time where a black man went out into the world and was treated like shit. But when he came home, that was the one place I could make him feel like he was somebody. So it's something as simple as bringing that man a plate.
Right.
Men at this time did respect that. Black men for damn sure respected the fact that the woman did treat him like a king in the house. Nobody was asking her to get down on your knees and crawl to me like a court. No man was asking that because the woman understood that. She knew how hard it was for men to go out there and try to
They had
come
an
back
understanding back in the
alive.
day because they both were not being treated fair.
Right. So my thing was even though we were not his thing. No, we were not being treated fairly, but we were still getting treated better than y'all, and we was getting treated like shit. So the real men understood that concept and never wanted that woman to get. That's why the man trusted his woman here. Take care of the house and the kids. The man would work these crazy hour jobs and do all the things that he had to do to maintain because that's the dynamic of the household. Now, if you wanted to vote, that's great. And I know, but you was talking about how they were treated. Majority. I'm not because I never speak in absolutes because there's no such thing as absolutes. But majority of the black dynamic household was because men were treating their women like they deserve. If that's the case, we understand that the government's first job was we have to destroy the black household.
That's a fact.
That was the first thing they said. And they said, how do you destroy the black household? You take away the head. The father was the head. If I can remove that, I can kill everything else. So that's why I'm like, no, if black women was getting treated like that, the minute government came in and said I can assist you, black women would have been like, thank you, Jesus. Get this nigga out of here. But that wasn't the case. They were more upset at the fact, like, yo, why are you doing this? Why is he gone? Because there were too many strong black men that were able to show. And like you had your, like I said, you had your Kwame Ture's, you had your Stokely Carmichaels, you had your Huey Newtons, you had your Malcolms, you had you had your
and these were all young black males as well.
right, that had the mindset of knowing what it would take to build up. And every one of these men, whether they were Martin Luther King on the far spectrum, all the way down to Medgar Evers on the far right. Medgar Evers died in front of his house, in front of his kids. This is where we have to understand that the idea of men were not, no, that's never been the case. These men were always about the one thing that they said was the black family. That was always a thing. And women at that time had no problem with the black family. Yo, everybody knew Martin was getting some ass on the side. Let's keep it a bean. Like, we not saying that. Coretta knew. Coretta knew, hey, I know you doing you. But Coretta would, and I'm not, and again, to be fair, I'm not giving Martin a pass. But Coretta was like, this shit's bigger than you what you doing on the side. That's why I said you have to respect Coretta. You ain't got a choice but to respect Coretta, because Coretta saw the bigger picture. Coretta could have outed Martin and killed the whole fucking civil rights movement and said, yo, this y'all leader, this cheating motherfucker that's been doing this with his kids and this, that, and the third. Coretta did not. Coretta stood toe for toe, march for march, foot for foot.
Didn't do it, and neither did our ancestors. Period. Our old foundation,
Right.
The whole old school foundation swept that part under the rug, because I never even thought of that concept that you're coming up with, because it was bigger things to worry about than you going down the street sleeping with Susie. And that's
exactly.
The foundation and unity of having a family was more important. So and that's a fact. That is very true. And I do think the black families did have more of a better foundation than any other race on this earth. Period.
Absolutely.
But if you and truth be told, though, today we still swallow a lot of things.
We do. We swallow a lot. But the difference is, swallowing whatever we swallowing now is different because we're too divided now. Even when you had the Christians and the Muslims back in that day, there was still a form of respect for what each other had in common. Right now, the Muslims are beefing with the brothers are beefing with them, and like, we can't even come to how many people just did not like Obama? You couldn't see the bigger picture of what the hell that man accomplished. You got your first black president, and too many niggas, man, fuck this. He ain't gonna do nothing for us. He ain't this, he ain't that. Besides seeing the bigger picture, your child is watching history right now, that little kid can see something that can change the world down the line. But too many pro-black people was upset at the fact that he was not black enough for them, which is the stupidest fucking thing to me, because you have to take off one thing at a time. It's just the idiocy of how people maneuver and won't think as the bigger picture. Bro, that man he shattered a fucking barrier, shattered it to a point that, again, it delves in more into Martin's dream, because, again, to be fair, he don't get that seat unless white people vote for that man too. Let's keep it.
So what's the problem with us burying the hatchet right now? Why can't we get along right now today?
Jim Crow letter. It's the Jim Crow letter. I'm sorry, the Jim Crow and the Willie Lynch.
Yeah, the Willie Lynch. The Willie Lynch law.
Because we are so accustomed. We are the only people that will take the simple saying of he lives up there with the white people as a compliment. Anytime somebody tells you he live with white people, you instantly think somebody's doing good in their life. And that's a problem. I live in a south suburban area called University Park. In this area, there is less than a 1% crime rate, and it's predominantly black. So again, we can sit here and have debates about saying people black, but at the end of the day, when we can stop actually looking at situations and saying, "Oh my God, well, if this person lives here and do this, and they doing that,"
better than aspect.
Right. If we can sit here and actually eliminate that and sit up there and talk about, hey, we don't need to be worried about house nigga and field nigga. We don't need to be worried about that. What we need to worry about is how do we rebuild a Tulsa, Oklahoma? Because that was one of the
Just was saying
times
that
that we
earlier.
could say,
Right.
that was one of the times where we were in full thriving. We created our own banks. We had our own car fluctuant. We had everything to build an economic base from scratch. And a certain race of people saw that there were black people in Tulsa that was living better than them. Didn't like it. Tulsa, nobody in Tulsa was fucking with anybody. Nobody was. And these people, simply because they didn't like it, decided to come down there, rape, kill, and burn all these businesses down. And we act like Tulsa wasn't a genocide or a homicide. The shit that pisses me off is we can sit up here. The Holocaust has been repaid by the United States of America. You have repaid the Jews for the Holocaust. Yet you have a race of people who built the land that the Holocaust actually happened on, and you refuse to acknowledge the fact of their suffering and the fact that we can sit up here and say, well, slavery was at a certain time where it doesn't matter. That is a trained behavior. Slavery is still a mental mindset that is passed on through
We in
generations
slavery right now
because
today.
it's psychological.
We in slavery right now
It
today.
is psychological. Psychological warfare. That's all I have to do. The Willie Lynch letter broke it down the best. If you can separate these two, these motherfuckers will be fighting forever. And to this day, the Willie Lynch letter, light skin and dark skin, we have that debate every fucking day. So again, we can't sit here and say that if you can believe that the Willie Lynch letter is still in the play, why can't you believe that the effects of slavery is still in play?
Fact. That's a fact. I agree wholeheartedly.
But again, I ain't come on y'all joint to sit up here for a half hour and a half.
That's what everybody say. It's okay.
That's what they say. But thank you for tuning in to Real Life Topics Podcast. And you guys, of course, this is comedian D. Patrick from Speak Your Truth, the moderator from Speak Your Truth. Make sure you guys, if you ain't got nothing going on, Tuesday, October 7th, I believe it is. Look at that.
Yep, October 7th.
Tuesday, October 7th, you can check out Speak Your Truth, where they have discussions just like we're having right now, but better, more than ever, with a little wine on 90th and Hermitage. Check out Speak Your Truth. October 7th is 2 Tuesdays out of a month. So if you can't make that October 7th, you can make the next one in 2 weeks. It's comedian D. Patrick that tuned in to Real Life Topics Podcast. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for your input, love. We appreciate you.
Love y'all.
But yes, what a beautiful conversation. But yes, Real Life Topics Podcast did definitely touch on the importance of mentor, leading by examples for these children. What they watch on TV, the music. And we also was dwelling on, if anybody missed it, because sometimes people don't look at the whole video. Real Life Topics is actually trying to build off leading by example on what we do when we go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. We want to promote positivity.
Oh shoot.
Motivational thing. Oops, connection is lost. Reconnecting.
I was just going to say, yeah, you got stuck. You was froze for a little minute.
We're reconnecting. But of course, like I was saying before, Real Life Topics Podcast definitely just want to base things off positivity. When we have people on the show, we want to talk about things of importance, things that can maybe help change us all. Because we're not just on here to point fingers at anybody or say what
not at all.
We're doing. We're talking about self-preservation. We are motivational self-preservation speakers. So when we speak,
and we are here to learn and grow through each other. We receive wisdom and we give it out, and we're here to learn and grow through each other. This is all an experience for us all.
It is, yes, it is. So
y'all sure wondering what happened, because he sure did just get up out of here.
Connection, yeah, he was kind of fading and pausing and stuff like that when he was on. But yes, Real Life Topics Podcast. If anybody ever want to join these conversations, because once again, this is like counseling for us all. To be aware is to be alive. The
meeting of the man, y'all. It's the meetings of the man.
Meetings of the man is if you know
each
better,
one teach one, know better, do better.
If you want to join the movement of leading by example and trying to make just break this generational curse that we have going on with this new generation. Let's get it. If anybody know any motivational lyricists, anyone that can help motivate. Once again, we not knocking anybody that want to do their thing on the other side. But we are trying to invest in the new generation, and we're trying to do things and lead by example on this new generation. They cutting up, guys, and we got to know that us as adults are part of the problem if we're not leading in a good example for our
And
children.
we all been affected. There are no big eyes or little U's, and we all have come to the understanding that we all need to learn and grow. It's okay. I don't know your name, but you definitely remind me of
Lonnie. We don't
Lonnie.
even know who Lonnie is. Who you talking about? Lonnie,
Yeah, the comedian.
oh, oh, Lonnie. Yeah,
Like
Lonnie. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Albert. Yeah,
my
but
name is the Sunflower Soul. My name on the bottom of the screen right there. Real like the Sunflower Soul.
one of the Life Topics podcast. But once again, guys, we want you guys to join this movement every Thursday night at 7 p.m. ish Central Time. You gotta join the meetings of the man. We gotta talk about this stuff. We gotta come up with a solution. We gotta join this movement together to be unity, because we would be so much better if we were as a whole instead of
Yeah, and listen, we need to stop being fake. Okay, we can't keep living in this ego and in this I don't even know the word for it, but you need to not be fake. We have a job to do, not even with our youth, but with each other. Okay, we have to. There are people out here who are looking for guidance, who want wisdom, who need mentorship, and we don't know where to turn to because so many people are fake and phony. They claim that they have good intentions for you, but the whole time you have your own intentions, your own ill will. You know what I mean? I think that's a lot of the problem. We don't trust each other because of all the things that we've been through. We have taken on the um the falseness of the people who instilled the program in us, and we have to come up out of those things. We have to be able to understand that, like I said, we all have been affected by trauma at some point in time, and we also have to understand that we cannot continue to pass on down the trauma to each other. We have to cut the head at some point. We have to be able to plant seeds for us to grow to gain a harvest of positivity, righteousness. Let's bring back morals. Let's bring back integrity. Let's bring back love. Let's bring back honor. Let's bring back respect. Let's bring back loyalty. All of those things that make us human. Let's bring those things back.
bring the community back together. It's a drought on community. We're not coming together at all. Everybody is on their own agenda, and we're not realizing that us as a whole is better than us being apart. We need to make this a really big deal, guys. We got things going on. I hate to bring up politics, but it's a big piece of chunk that's of importance as well that we need to pay attention to, because it definitely will affect our new generation. We're going to actually dwell on politics just a little bit more. Rest in peace to Mr. Charlie Kirk. I'm down with the count when no and wishing death on nobody, regardless if there wasn't a good person or not. That's up for God to judge. Don't nobody want to see nobody die. I don't care what's going on. So it's one thing to say, hey, this person was a good person, but who are we to decide if that person should be dead or alive? I'm just
Well,
saying.
they killed a lot of our leaders. They killed Malcolm X. They killed Martin Luther King. They steady killing us. So I get it. I am not for anybody's death. But I mean, people feel how they feel because of the things that have happened to us. So it's a little resentment in that, when things like that go on with other people.
Jimmy Kimmel had to lose his job because it's a freedom of speech. It was nothing wrong that he said. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, you could come together. It's okay, Jimmy Kimmel. You could come together with Real Life Topics Podcast. We can get our own network. We don't need ABC, because if ABC ain't down for a freedom of speech and mad at because you ain't say what I wanted you to say, that's a problem. So I'm so sorry that you didn't lost your job over just one little small comment, Jimmy Kimmel. This is
But we
ridiculous.
don't understand our power. Right now, people are boycotting Target and Walmart and beauty supply stores, and it's actually making an impact. Just imagine if we can do small things of that nature, the grave impact we'll have on the community, on the world. We don't even understand. We in America have the power to change the world, y'all. We just have to be able to come together to be able to do so. Let's not lack understanding. Let's gain knowledge. Let's have some wisdom about ourselves, some valor. Let's work together, better together.
Better together. Join of the Minds every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. If you know anybody that's an entrepreneur and wants to promote their brand, Real Life Topics Podcast do interviews, and it's we coming to an end on our interviews as well. We got specials going on for the next 30 days on the interviews, so you might want to book because in a minute, like I said, we'll be collabing with Jimmy Kimmel. I'm just speaking it into existence.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week at 7 p.m. Central Time. We will have an exclusive interview with Chicago Getter, Mr. David Smith. You don't want to miss that interview. And join the Meetings of the Mind. It's Real Life Topics.